Okay, so we are going to do an example. This one's from our textbook, and I picked it because it's very long, but it gives rise to some important ideas that we will discuss when we return from Thanksgiving. So this is asking us to evaluate the vector line integral. So vector line integral right here with our vector field in R2 given with these two components on three different paths. And you can see the paths in the diagram that's also from our textbook. We'll start with going through the vector field along a quarter circle that starts at P and ends at Q. Notice this is going to go in the clockwise direction, so we'll have to parametrize that. Then we're going to go in the opposite direction, start at Q and go to P. This is much more what we're used to, going on a counterclockwise direction along the circle. And then finally, we're going to go also from P to Q, but we're going to take two paths, a line segment down to the origin from P and then to the right to Q from the origin. So, and then we'll add those two and see what we get. So there's a lot of exploration in this example. Let's see how it goes. So first we're going to start with parametrizing our quarter circle that's going in the clockwise direction from P to Q. Now, usually X and Y are in a unit circle, that's what this is, are either sine or cosine. So the way that I think about this is I want to start my T at 0. And probably this is just half a circle, so I'm going to let T just go up to pi over 2. And that gives me T is like theta. So I need to figure out what is our parametrized curve that's going to take me in the clockwise direction but start at 0, 1. So you might notice that the point 0, 1 is when sine of pi over 2 is 1 and cosine of pi over 2 is 0. But I want to end at pi over 2, not start at pi over 2. So, but if I switch them, if I switch sine and cosine, and make sine my first function in my vector function, and cosine the second one, so I switch these traditional x and y components, then let's see what that gets us. Because the sine of 0 is 0, and the cosine of 0 is 1. So switching these gets me to start here when t is 0. Well, all right, let's check that we will end here when t is pi over 2. So because we've switched them, sine of pi over 2 is 1, so sure enough that gives me the 1 in the x component, and cosine of pi over 2 is 0, and that gives me the 0 in the y component. So we have our parametrization of our curve. The next thing that we need, once we have our parametrization, is we're going to need R prime. So recall that our vector line integral can be evaluated if we change this in terms of t to obtain the integral from a to b of our vector field evaluated at our vector function dotted with the velocity function times dt. So we're at this step. We want to find this piece so that we can evaluate our integral. And so we're going to need R prime. So R prime of t for this quarter circle is going to be cosine t negative sine t. I just took the derivative of r of t. And our vector field f, which is y minus x and x as its components, well, let's write it in terms of t. So y minus x gives us negative sine t. No, I'm using r prime. Hold on. Y minus x, we're using r of t up here. So y is cosine t, so this is cosine t minus sine t, y minus x, comma x, which is sine t. And now we're ready to do the dot product of f with r prime of t. So I'm doing the dot product between these two vectors. So we're going to have cosine t will multiply the first component of f, and then we'll add or subtract, in this case, negative sine t, which is the second component of r prime, times the second component of So we have cosine squared t minus cosine t sine t minus sine squared t. And this is a particularly ordinary example because we've got to use, it would be really helpful to use some identities. So I'm going to group together cosine squared t minus sine squared t. And I know these are the identities that are difficult to remember, but they actually make life much easier in this particular example. We could integrate otherwise, but it's going to be a lot easier to integrate if we can replace these. We could always use the power reduction identities, but I'm not going to use those. So here, the identities I'm referring to is that cosine squared minus sine squared is the same as cosine of 2t. And cosine t minus sine t is 1/2 sine of 2t, since sine of 2t is 2 sine t cosine t. And so we can write this dot product in a little bit easier way that's going to help me with integration, make integration a lot easier, and write it as cosine of 2t minus 1/2 sine of 2t. And now we're ready to set up our integral. So t was going from 0 to pi over 2 because we're doing the quarter of the circle. And our dot product has become cosine of 2t minus 1/2 sine of 2t dt. And we can integrate this. It's not too bad. For the first integral, that's going to be sine of 2t divided by 2. And our second integral would be a negative cosine, but that's going to become a positive because of this negative in front. So we'll have a positive cosine of 2t divided by 2, but I already had a 1/2 before, so this will be divided by 4. And we're integrating from 0 to pi over 2. And we get, when I put in pi over 2, that becomes sine of pi, which is 0, plus cosine of pi, which is a -1 over 4, minus, let's see what we get when we put in 0. Sine of 0 is 0. Cosine of 0 is 1. Let me try that again, because it shouldn't cancel out. Let's see. I may have done something wrong. When we put in pi over 2 in here, we get sine of pi, which is 0. Pi over 2 here, we get cosine of pi, which is -1. So that was correct. And then minus what we get when we put in a 0. So when I put in a 0, sine of 0 is 0, cosine of 0 is 1. Okay, that's okay. So that's a 1/4. They don't cancel out. That just gives us a -1/2. I confused myself. This is perfectly fine. So that is the value of our vector line integral along the quarter circle when we start at P, when we start at P and end at Q. So that is the path that we took, and that's the effect of all of these little vectors. And it's negative, which kind of makes sense because it looks like the vectors that are going in the opposite direction of our curve have larger magnitudes, right? These guys. So we're getting a little bit of a negative effect in integrating from P to Q. Let's take a look now at what happens when we integrate from Q to P. That was part B. We're going to go in the opposite direction. And I may need to do the third example, the third part, in a separate video just because the videos get too long. But let's do part B. It's a little bit easier because this time we are, trying to pick a better color. This time we are parametrizing the circle in a way that we're more used to. So we're parametrizing the circle in the counterclockwise direction because we're going to go from P to Q. So that we start at Q, whose coordinates were 1, 0, and end at P, whose coordinates are 0, 1. Well, and we only want the quarter circle, so this is exactly what we've done in the past. This is going to be, x is just going to be cosine t, y will be sine t, and t, because we're just looking at the quarter circle, will be from 0 to pi over 2. So our parametrization of the curve in the opposite direction is r of t equals cosine t sine t with a parameter interval from 0 to pi over 2. All right, now we need r prime of t just like we did before. So when we take the derivative, we get negative sine t cosine t. And we also want to write our vector field in terms of t using our parametrization. So recall that our vector field was y minus x, and the second component is x. So if I use our parametrization r of t here, we're going to have sine t minus cosine t as our first component and cosine t as the second component. And now we're going to do the dot product between our vector field and the velocity of our vector function. And that's going to give us, we have a negative sine t times sine t minus cosine t plus cosine squared t. So let's see what this gives us. We have a negative sine squared t plus sine t cosine t plus cosine squared t. I'm going to rearrange a little so we can use some identities. So we have cosine squared t minus sine squared t. That's one identity. Plus sine t cosine t, and we'll be able to use a second identity for this. It's going to make our calculations a lot easier. So our first identity is the same as before. This is actually cosine of 2t. And here I'm using the identity that sine 2t is equal to 2 sine t cosine t. So what we have is half of that. So we can write this as cosine 2t plus 1/2 sine 2t. And now we're ready to integrate. So our integral is going to be from 0 to pi over 2. That is our parameter interval. And our dot product that we calculated is cosine of 2t plus 1/2 sine of 2t. A very similar integral as before. When we integrate here, the first integral is going to give us sine of 2t over 2. And the second one will give us a minus cosine of 2t over 4. Remember that we divide by the constant on the inside when we're undoing the chain rule. And this is from 0 to pi over 2. So let's do that. When we put in pi over 2, we're going to get sine of pi, which is 0 for the first term. And cosine of pi is -1, but with a negative in front, that gives us a 1/4. Now we subtract what we get when we put in 0. The first term, sine of 0 is 0. The second term is going to be a -1/4. And so this is a fourth plus a fourth, which gives us a positive 1/2. And so I'm going to have to end this video here. We'll do the third part in the next video. But what I do want you to notice is that when we integrated the vector field over the curve in the clockwise direction, the quarter circle, we got a -1/2. When we integrate the same vector field over the same curve but in the opposite direction, we got a +1/2. That always happens. And the way that we can write that finding, I'll write it at the very bottom. Our observation here is that if we go in the opposite direction, we get the opposite sign, sign, of the integral. And we can write that as a general result, which is when we integrate over the opposite direction and we find a vector line integral along the curve, that's going to have the opposite value of the integral in the direction of c of our dot product. So this is a general finding that is exemplified by this problem. We're going to do the third part in a follow-up example.